Control Players Unite.
Hey Control Nation, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Dr. Red. In this video, we want to know what is tanking and what are the highest HP Pokemon in the TCG and how do we buff them. First, we will go over what is tanking and how it works. Second, we will discuss the highest base HP Pokemon for rule boxes and single prizers. Third, we will have an interlude wherein we discuss how many of each energy type have rule box tank Pokemon. Fourth, we lay out the options for how to boost HP. Fifth, and the part you're all wanting most, we lay out which Pokemon have the highest HP with these modifications. Sixth, we have an interlude for how to work into your deck's Ludicolo. You'll see what we mean here in a moment. Seventh, we have some fun tanking with the F block, our one last hurrah before they rotate. And last, we conclude with basics for tanking. Please note, ladies and gentlemen, we are ignoring the new Mega Pokemon EX because as of this video's posting, they are months from release. Tanking with them will be a separate video. First, we need to define HP. As one of the 16 methods of control, tanking involves HP, which stands for hit points, the base amount of damage a Pokemon must receive before it is knocked out. It is one of the Pokemon TCG's official terms. However, effective HP is a player-made term. It refers to the amount of damage a Pokemon must receive before it is knocked out, with the caveat that its base HP is not its true HP. That is to say, there is something else going on with the Pokemon that modifies the amount shown on the card. It obtains effective HP in one of two ways: reduced damage from the opposing Pokemon's attacks, and overall HP increase. Both of these are found in stadiums, supporters, tool cards, Pokemon's abilities, and the effects of attacks. Thus, tanking refers to a Pokemon's being difficult to knock out due to its having high HP, effective or base. It's worth noting, ladies and gentlemen, that tanking is often paired with healing, which is the removal of damage counters from Pokemon, for another term called tank and heal, making KOs even more difficult for your opponent because you require them to re-damage you. Though we are purposefully ignoring healing for the purpose of this video to focus on tanking. Also, for this video, we want to know how high can we get a Pokemon's effective HP in the Journey Together format. Let's begin by discussing the highest base HP Pokemon, starting with Rule Box, then moving on to Single Prize. The highest base HP on a Rule Box Stage 2 Pokemon is 340 HP, as found, for example, on Garganacl EX. Now, notice the 340 HP. That's the highest amount permitted on a Stage 2 up to this point in time. We will go over the rest of them in the next section. For now, read its attacks effects. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks. That means when this Pokemon attacks, it has an effective HP of 400, not the 340 on the card. Let's move on. The highest base HP on a Rule Box Stage 1 is 340 on Palafin EX. He's the exception to the rule because all other Stage 1s are 300 HP and below, which we'll go over in the next section too. For now, the next highest HP on a Stage 1 Rule Box is 280 HP. They are Arcanine EX, Bellibolt EX, Iono's Bellibolt EX, Melmetal EX, En's Zoroark EX, Paldean Clodsire EX, Palisand EX, Revavroom EX Lightning Terra type, Revavroom EX Metal type, Umbreon EX, and Vaporeon EX. The highest base HP on a Rule Box Basic is 260 on Blood Moon Ursaluna EX and Snorlax EX. And in case you're wondering, there are two Great Tusk EX with 250 and an Okidogi EX also at 250. Now, the highest base HP on a Single Prize Stage 2 is 200 HP on Rhyperior. There's also an Aggron with 180 HP, but the effect of its second attack reduces incoming damage by 50, so its effective HP is 230. The highest base HP on a Single Prize Stage 1 is 240 on Wailord. There's also an effective 210 HP Cetitan because of its minus 30 damage, and a 200 HP Copperajah. The highest base HP on a Single Prize Basic is 160 on Scarlet and Violet Dondozo, Paradox Rift Dondozo, Twilight Masquerade Snorlax, Black Star Promo Snorlax, and Prismatic Evolutions Regigigas. Now that we've gone through the highest HP for each stage of rule box and single prize Pokemon, let's take a closer look at which Mons have the highest base HP. This interlude includes the promised 340 HP Pokemon, but we're doing it for science's sake, so skip it if you're not interested. If you're looking only at Pokemon whose base HP is 300 to 340 HP, there are 41 Stage 2s and 7 Stage 1s, all of which are at 300 except for Palafin at 340. As promised, here are the other 340 HP Pokemon: Slaking, Darkness-type Tyranitar, Garganacl, Mamoswine, Fire-type Skeledirge, Torterra, Venusaur, Lightning Terra-type Tyranitar, and of course Palafin. The 330 HP Pokemon are Dark-type Charizard, Hydreigon, Dragonite, Golem, Fire-type Charizard, Hydrapple, Ampharos, remember that one? Magnezone, Aegislash, Metal-type Skeledirge, also Terra, and Blastoise. The 320 HP Pokemon are Dragapult, Salamence, Annihilate, Blaziken, Cinderace, Incineroar, Decidueye, Garchomp, and Quaquaval. The 310 HP Pokemon are Gengar, Flygon, Fighting-type Greninja, Meowscarada, Luxray, Alakazam, Gardevoir, Kingdra, and Serena. The 300 HP Pokemon are Blissey, Alolan Executor, Pawmot, Archaludon, Copperajah, Melmetal, Tinkaton, Gyarados, Blackstar Water-type Greninja, and Stellar Crown Greninja, also a Water-type. That means Water has 9 Pokemon EX, Fighting has 6, Grass, Fire, Lightning, Metal 5, Dark and Dragon 4, Psychic 3, and Colorless Alolan 2 with Blissey and Slaking. Moving on, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Building off of Section 2's results, in addition to an attacking Pokemon's base HP, what can we use to boost HP? Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're ignoring all healing cards, including Professor Turo's Scenario, Penny, and Scoop Up Cyclone, which wipe away damage by picking up your Pokemon off the board. So they're healing cards, of course. We're also excluding Neutralization Zone, since that cancels damage outright. And once it's in the discard pile, there's no retrieving it. And also we're excluding all the different berries because they are too situational. To modify HP, we can add Bronzong and or Hariyama, which reduce damage by 10. Ludicolo, which increases all of your Pokemon's HP by 40. Area 0 Underdepths, which allows you to bench your bench to expand up to 8 slots. Lively Stadium, which increases your basic Pokemon's HP by 30. And Metal Lab, which decreases damage taken by 30 to your Metal-type Pokemon. We can also add Jasmine's Gaze, which reduces damage taken by 30 on your opponent's next turn. Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, which will increase an Ancient Pokemon's HP by 60. Bravery Charm, which will increase a basic Pokemon's HP by 50. Defiance Vest, which decreases damage by 40 when behind on prizes. Hero's Cape, which will increase your max HP by 100. Luxurious Cape, which does the same thing, but only on single prize Pokemon, and if they're KO'd, they give up an extra prize. Rigid Band, which decreases damage by 30 on Stage 1 Pokemon. And Rock Chestplate, which decreases damage by 30 on Fighting-type Pokemon. So now, the part you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about HP totals. This section explains which Pokemon tank to the largest effective HP with the most reasonable amount of help. Now, to keep it simple, ladies and gentlemen, for single prize Pokemon, we want a minimum of 340 HP to match Stage 2 Rule Box Pokemon's base HP. And for Rule Box Pokemon themselves, we want a minimum of 450 HP. Why? It has to do with the additional help we're receiving. The only Pokemon we're going to add is Ludicolo. The only tool we're adding is Hero's Cape, or if you want, Luxurious Cape for single prizers, as they afford us the most efficient ways to tank through Pokemon and tools. A cape attached to a 340 HP Pokemon makes it 440, but the additional 10 HP up to 450 gives us motivation to go a bit further. For instance, we will also add a Stadium if applicable, but we're going to ignore Jasmine's Gaze with the thought that we might want to play another supporter for turn, but do consider her in your own deck building and in these totals. We're also ignoring Bronzong and Hariyama as they take up a lot of bench space. So, with just Ludicolo, Cape, attack effects, abilities, and a Stadium, we want to know, again, how high can we get a Pokemon's effective HP in the Journey Together format. There are 2 single prize exceptions to the minimum HP rule. There are no rule box exceptions, and you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a colorless Pokemon trick. Lively Stadium increases basic HP by 30. Ludicolo, all Pokemon's HP by 40. If you have Bouffalant with Curly Wall in play, and you have any other Pokemon named Bouffalant in play alongside it, your colorless basic Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks. And Hero's Cape increases your overall HP by 100. You put all of these together, and you get an effective 230 HP boost to basic colorless Pokemon. Because there are so many of these, we're not going to cover every single one that fits the required benchmarks, but we will cover a few. There are 18 single prizers, starting with Rhyperior, the first of the 2 exceptions. Ludicolo and Hero's Cape give it an effective HP of 340. Titan mentioned earlier, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, and its ability give it an effective HP of 350. Cloyster has Protect Charge, which the effect takes 80 less damage on your next turn. So Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, and the effect give you an effective HP of 350. Houndoom has the same thing, except the effect is minus 100, so put all those together, you have an effective HP of 360. Copperajah mentioned earlier, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, and Metal Lab, which takes minus 30, will give you an effective HP of 370. Now Bouffalant has Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, the other Bouffalant we mentioned with the Curly Wall ability, Lively Stadium, and its own Bouffer ability has minus 20 for an effective HP of 370. Crustle has the same effect as Houndoom, and it has an effective HP of 370. We have Ice-Cube with Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, its minus 100 damage effect, plus Lively Stadium, for an effective HP of 380. Wailord is the second of the 2 exceptions. Just Ludicolo and Hero's Cape, it gets an effective HP of 380 on a single prize stage 1. Next we have Snorlax with Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, Bouffalant, and Lively Stadium. You're going to get an effective HP of 390. If you want to attack with But First Food, you'll heal 60 damage, which would make it an effective 450 as well. Then there's Regigigas with the exact same thing, effective HP of 390. Donphan has the minus 100 damage effect for an effective HP of 390. Next we have Tornadus. Its effect is minus 50 plus everything else for colorless. Its effective HP is 390. Then we have Hops Corviknight. Has Ludicolo, Hero's Cape. The effect of its Steel Wing attack lets it take minus 60 damage. And you also have Metal Lab for minus 30 with an effective HP of an even 400. Next we have Orthworm with Ludicolo, Hero's Cape. Its ability, which will give it plus 100 HP, plus the Metal Lab at minus 30 damage, will give it an effective HP of 400. Next, we have the Aggron we mentioned earlier, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape. The effect of its attack takes minus 50 damage next turn, plus the Metal Lab at minus 30 gives it also an effective HP of an even 400. Then we have one of my personal favorites, Okidogi, Ludicolo plus Hero's Cape, plus when you attach a Dark Energy, it gets 100 HP. Lively Stadium gives it another 30 for an exact 400 effective HP. And last but not least, we have Bramblegast, Ludicolo plus Hero's Cape, and its ability Resilient Soul. This Pokemon gets 50 HP for each prize your opponent has taken. So if your opponent takes 5 prizes, 5 times 50 is 250. So add that 250 and you'll get an effective HP of 490. And if you add a Bronzong or Hariyama, you can get to an even 500 HP on a single prize Pokemon. Now just for fun, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you 2 additional ones that didn't meet the 340 HP benchmark, but I thought they were hilarious. Shelgon from Journey Together, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, Guard Press takes minus 30, and has an effective HP of 270. And this one, Hops Rookidee, base 60 HP, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, Bouffalant, Lively Stadium, and Speed Dive's effect is minus 20. You can get an effective HP of 310 on this little songbird. I thought that was awesome. And now on to Rulebox Pokemon. There are 14 Pokemon, and we're presenting 15 builds, as one of the Pokemon has 2 of them. Mabostiff EX with Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, and the effect of its attack Daunt gives it an effective HP of 450. Next we have Lugia EX with the colorless Trick, has an effective HP of 450. Terapagos has the exact same thing, but it has 10 extra base HP, so its effective HP is 460. Next, we have Armor Rouge EX. Its ability Crimson Armor says if this Pokemon has full HP, it'll take 80 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Put all those together, and you have an effective HP of 480. But once again, without any healing, this is a one-time occasion. We have Snorlax EX with the Colorless Trick for an effective HP of 490. Blood Moon Ursaluna EX is the exact same thing, effective HP of 490. Next, we have Scizor EX. Steel Wings effect takes minus 50 damage. Steel Lab is minus 30, and effective HP of 490. Next, we have Wigglytuff. Its ability Expanding Body says if this Pokemon has any special energy attached, it gets plus 100 HP for an effective HP of 490. Then we have the Metal Skeleturge EX. If you add Metal Lab on top of Ludicolo and Hero's Cape, you'll get an even 500 HP effective. Then we have Blastoise EX. Its ability Solid Shell has it take 30 less damage from attacks for an effective HP of 500. Then we have Copperajah EX, Ludicolo plus Hero's Cape. Its ability Bronze Body and then Metal Lab at minus 30 gives it an effective HP of 500. Next we have Sylveon EX, Ludicolo, and Hero's Cape, and the effect of Magical Charm has it taking 100 less damage, so the effective HP is 510. Then we're back to Garganacl EX, Ludicolo, Hero's Cape, and the effect of its attack has it at 540 effective HP. Now this last one, ladies and gentlemen, is interesting. Remember that Revavroom EX we talked about? Well, it has the ability Tune-Up. This Pokemon may have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to it. If it loses the ability, you discard tools until it has only 1. So you have Ludicolo in play, then one of the 4 tools is Hero's Cape. Remember that Rigid Band takes off 30 damage on a stage 1 Pokemon, so the other 3 slots are taken up by Rigid Band for minus 90. Put Metal Lab down, you have minus 30 damage. And the effect of its attack Wild Drift is during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage. So you put all of those together, add it onto its base 280 HP for an effective HP of 570. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, there's another one. If you're behind on prizes and you substitute out Rigid Band in favor of Defiance Vest, that's minus 40 damage if you're behind on prizes. So times 3 is minus 120. Add it all together, you get Revavroom EX at an even 600 effective HP. Now for a short interlude, and you say to me, but Dr. Red, how do I get Ludicolo to work? David Zhang's Charizard build is proof of concept that 3 Stage 2 Pokemon is perfectly viable in a deck, at least if you know how to play it. In this example, substitute Ludicolo in for the Dusknoir line, and bam, you've fit Ludicolo into your build. Look at your own decks and see which Pokemon you can drop, otherwise you'll have to start anew. And now it's time to have some fun with the F-Block Pokemon, and Revavroom is going to take center stage again. We can get this Revavroom above effective 600 HP if we set things up perfectly. This section is academic just to see how far we can push the tanking, so if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. Here's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. We attach Hero's Cape, we're behind on prizes, and we use Defiance Vest. We're actually going to play Jasmine's Gaze for minus 30 damage, and the effect of Wild Drift will give us an effective HP of 560. Now, let's say we play Area 0 Under Depths with a Terra Pokemon in play taking up the first slot. Remember, Area 0 gives us 8 bench spots total. We then play Zamazenta V-Star, which has the Shield Star ability. It states that on your next turn, all of your Pokemon take minus 100 damage from your opponent's Pokemon's attacks. Then comes Ludicolo taking up the 3rd slot, followed by Bronzong and Hariyama in slots 4 through 8 for an additional total damage reduction of minus 50, giving us an effective HP of 750 on Revavroom. But wait, there's more! We have everything that we've just done, but if you add a V-Guard energy, you take 30 fewer damage from V Pokemon. If you follow that with a Grass-type Pokemon like Superior V, you reduce the damage further because Revavroom EX resists Grass types by 30. Now suppose for the sake of argument that your opponent piles 4 Double Turbo Energies onto the Superior. Because Double Turbo Energies decrease damage by 20 each, we effectively have another 80 damage reduction, giving us 890 HP on the Revavroom EX. Let's just do something one more time, please. We have everything that we just said starting from the beginning, except that we add 4 Bastiodons. Its Primal Fortress ability states that your Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon V, which gives us an effective minus 130 damage when we add Bronzong as well. We thus have an effective HP of 830 at this point. We add everything else that we already talked about, and we can get the Revavroom up to 970 effective HP. Now let's have some fun with the F-Block Pokemon one more time. We have the Wailord from Silver Tempest. Its ability is minus 30, and Heroescape gives us another 100 HP, so we get effective HP of 330. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there is no Ludicolo available for F-Block Pokemon. We have Machamp with the Crisis Muscles ability. If your opponent has 3 or fewer prizes remaining, this Pokemon gets 150. Add that with a cape, you have an effective HP of 400. Then we have Ursaluna V. With its ability Hard Coat, it takes minus 30 damage. Put a Heroescape on it, add Lively Stadium, and you can get an effective HP of 390. If you want to even add a Hariyama, you can get to an even 400. Then we have Hisuian Goodra V-Star. Heroescape plus the effect of its attack Rolling Iron gives it minus 80 damage. So its effective HP is 450. Next, we have one of my personal favorites, Honchkrow V. Its ability Boss Pockets is the exact same as Revavroom EX's. Add a Heroescape and a Lively Stadium, and the other 3 slots for the tools are 3 Bravery Charms, which increases a basic Pokemon's health by 50, so it's plus 150. You can get an effective HP of 480. If for any reason, ladies and gentlemen, you're serious about playing this archetype, I would highly recommend dropping a Bravery Charm for Protective Goggles to get rid of its lightning weakness. And last but certainly not least, we have Regieleki VMAX at base 310 HP. Heroescape gives it an additional 100. But wait a minute, its previous evolution in Regieleki V has the Lightning Wall attack. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 100 less damage from attacks. If you add Relicanth with Memory Dive, each of your evolved Pokemon can use any attack from its previous evolutions. That gives you an effective HP of 510 on a 3-prizer. Whew, that was a lot of tanking. So let's conclude, everybody. If you want to tank and nothing else, find the highest HP Pokemon you can, use a health increase if it's available, always attach a cape of some kind, and use a stadium when applicable. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. What did I miss? Where am I wrong? Please leave a comment, take care of yourselves, and may God hold you in the palm of his hand.